Hello everybody, Big Gay Ice Cream in the house, and in today's video, we are gonna be comparing the Friday the 13th franchise to the Halloween franchise and seeing which is better. Now, this is gonna be completely opinions based, so what we're going to be doing is going movie by movie, so comparing the original Halloween to the original Friday the 13th, Halloween 2, Friday the 13th Part 2, and so on and so forth, and seeing which one of the two I like the most, and then tallying up which one has the most preferences by me. That's the gist of the video. Not much else to say, so let's get started. So starting off, we have the original Halloween versus the original Friday the 13th. Now this one, okay, I'm gonna just completely start out by saying, personally, I prefer the original Halloween. But a part of me feels that even objectively, the original Halloween is just better in a lot of different ways. I mean, not to mention, so much of the original Friday the 13th is a ripoff of the original Halloween, which everyone knows at this point, so I'm not going to go on about that. But I think that the original Halloween is just an overall better movie. It's scarier, you know, being able to see the killer, even if it's just a tiny, tiny bit, adds a lot. In the original Friday the 13th, it's nothing but a bunch of POV shots, but in Halloween, you know, you see Michael in the background, you know, you see him pop out from the hedge for like half a second, you'll see his shoulder, you'll hear his breathing. Stuff like that, I think it makes for an overall way creepier, scarier experience than just a POV shot, because so many movies do that. It just isn't scary to me at all. But something about the original Halloween just makes Michael Myers feel like a ghost, like some type of vengeful spirit, which in a way he kind of is. But yeah, so the original Halloween over the original Friday the 13th, no question. Next up, we have Halloween 2 versus Friday the 13th Part 2. Now, anyone who knows me knows how much I love Halloween 2. But before I say which one I prefer, I will say I do really, really love Friday the 13th Part 2. I don't really like the original Friday the 13th, like, at all, if I'm being honest. But Part 2, I love. Part 2 takes all the things that were bad in Part 1, improves upon them, plus more. I love Friday the 13th Part 2, but that being said, Halloween 2 is where it's at. I fucking love Halloween 2. It keeps that same creepiness that the original Halloween has, that same, you know, making Michael Myers feel like a fucking ghost just in the background, lurking, hearing his breath, things like that, but it does that while upping the brutality at the same time, without cheapening it. It's more of a traditional classic Friday the 13th style slasher, but it still has the essence of the original Halloween, which I think it makes for a perfect slasher movie, because you get the best of both worlds. You get everything, or most of everything, that made the original Halloween so great, plus everything that makes a good old-fashioned slasher like a Friday the 13th movie so good. So you get the best of both worlds with Halloween 2. So many, like, absolutely iconic scenes. Michael being burnt alive, blood tears scene. Like, the amount of memorable scenes in Halloween 2 is just insane. Could be the movie with the most memorable scenes in the entire franchise, if I'm being honest. So yeah, Halloween 2, no question. Next up, we have Halloween 3 versus Friday the 13th Part 3. Now, I'm not crazy about either of these movies. I think that Halloween 3 is very, very good, but when I have the hankering to watch the Halloween franchise, I never think of Part 3, just because, you know, like most people, when I think Halloween, I think Michael Myers. But it's still a fantastic movie. Like, don't get me wrong, it is like one of the best John Carpenter movies there is. And then Friday the 13th Part 3, I don't think it's nearly as good of a movie as Halloween 3, just objectively. It's one of the most cheap-feeling Friday the 13th movies there is. It's just a very basic, cheesy slasher, especially with all of the mostly ass 3D effects. I mean, let's be real, mostly ass. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Halloween 3 on this one, no question. And it's starting to seem like I have a strong preference here, but I promise, it's not going to stay this way. Next up, we have Friday the 13th Part 4 versus Halloween 4. Now, this one is fucking difficult, because Friday the 13th Part 4, if you saw my Friday the 13th ranking, is my all-time favorite Friday the 13th movie. I adore that movie. But at the same time, I fucking love Halloween 4. I have so much nostalgia for it. It has such a great atmosphere, such a great Halloween vibe. There are very few movies I think of during the fall, October time as much as I do Halloween 4. It is a phenomenal movie, but Friday the 13th Part 4 has some of that special sauce in it. Okay, I don't know what makes it so much more different and special from the other ones, but it just does. It has a very... this is definitely human Jason at his most brutal, his scariest by far, and it has such a great atmosphere and so many great likable characters. And at the same time, Halloween 4 has all that as well. But I think when it comes down to what I prefer, I think Friday the 13th Part 4 just barely edges Halloween 4 out. Because when you think about it, it is my favorite movie in the Friday the 13th franchise versus, like, my third or fourth favorite in the Halloween franchise. So is it really fair if I choose Halloween 4? I don't really think so. So I think I'm going to go with Friday the 13th Part 4 on this one. Next up, we have Friday the 13th Part 5 versus Halloween 5. This one's very easy for me. I'm going with Friday the 13th Part 5. Listen, Halloween 5 has its moments, but it's mostly just infuriating than anything. That movie pisses me off because it follows up one of the greatest horror sequels of all time a year after, and it's not even close to being as good of a movie as Part 4. They do so many they do every character dirty. Loomis, Michael, Jamie, all of them. Even Jamie's stepsister they do dirty in that movie. That movie pisses me off every single time I watch it. Now, while Part 5, Friday the 13th Part 5, it's not like a mind-blowing movie or anything, but it's a fun slasher, and it doesn't piss me the fuck off every time I watch it like Halloween 5 does. So yeah, we're going Friday 5 for sure on this one. Next up, this is where I'm going to get a lot of hate. We have Halloween 6 versus Friday the 13th Part 6. Now, I know Friday 6 is like one of the most objectively beloved in the Friday the 13th franchise, and for good reason. It is a good-ass movie. I regularly rewatch it. I love it. It's high on my list. It used to not be. I used to think it was a bit overrated, but I definitely don't think that anymore. It's actually a very properly rated movie in my opinion. Halloween 6, man, just like what I said before, this movie has that special sauce in it. The only Halloween movie that does Halloween better than Part 4 is Part 6. I'm sorry. It just has such a impeccable fall atmosphere, and I'm a sucker for that type of shit. Atmosphere is a very important thing for me when it comes to how much I enjoy a movie. I just come back to Halloween 6 so much more than I do Friday 6. And love the Michael Myers a lot more than I do the Jason in Friday 6. Michael Myers is at one of his most brutal versions of himself in Part 6. I think the only version of Michael Myers that's more brutal than this version of Michael Myers is Rob Zombie's Halloween, specifically Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I adore Halloween 6 for so many different reasons. I know people hate the cult stuff, the weird-ass incest stuff. Listen, I get it. I never ever deny the objectively bad choices this movie makes, but there's something about it that just I hold near and dear to my heart, and there are very few Friday the 13th movies I would prefer to watch over it. I'm just being honest. Like I said, this all just comes down to my personal taste, and my personal taste leans towards Halloween 6 over Friday the 13th Part 6. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. Fuck y'all. Next up, we have Halloween H2O versus Friday the 13th Part 7. Now, I feel like most people would go with Halloween H2O on this one, but I don't. Not even a little bit. It's objectively a huge cash grab off of Scream's huge successes, which, I mean, isn't the only reason why I don't like it, but it definitely doesn't help it. One of my least favorite eras in horror is the era that followed Scream, where every movie felt the same. Every movie felt like a Scream ripoff. Every movie felt very meta and very, I don't know, I don't really like Scream that much to begin with. I'm sorry. I like the original Scream. Every Scream after, I don't give a shit. I don't like Urban Legend. I don't like I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I don't like Halloween H2O. I just don't like Scream ripoff movies. So that whole era of horror I don't like, and that includes Halloween H2O. And Friday the 13th Part 7, it has its issues for sure. I mean, the MPAA absolutely destroyed that movie when it came to like the action and gore. But we get some of the most memorable moments in that entire franchise. You know, Jason versus Carrie. Even though the movie is pretty boring for like the first half, towards the end it really builds up and becomes like iconic. So we're going Friday the 13th Part 7 on this one, absolutely. Next up, we have Halloween Resurrection versus Friday the 13th Part 8, aka Trash versus Garbage. I don't like either of these movies, so this is really just going to come down to which one I dislike less. Because we have Part 8 where it's, it feels like a classic 80s slasher, which of course, that's a great thing. But the promises this movie has, they don't deliver on them even a little bit. It's none of the kills are anything great in my opinion. They're a lot like Part 7 where it's just like a slash and a cutaway. Not into it. I mean, there's a kill in this movie where he slits a guy's throat with the back, the non-sharp end of the knife. It's ridiculous. And then the look of Jason in this movie I never liked. I never liked the big oval yellow egg-shaped mask. Definitely never liked the look of him under the mask. He's only in Manhattan for like 20 minutes out of the movie, which, Jason takes Manhattan. You'd think, oh, okay, he's gonna be in Manhattan like the whole time. Fuck no, he ain't. Halloween Resurrection, on the other hand, it doesn't try to be anything it isn't. Okay, everyone knows it's a cheap 2000s found footage cash grab movie with a fucking gangster rapper in there. I mean, it doesn't try to pretend it's anything different from what it is. It's a cheap ass 2000s horror movie with Busta Rhymes. Friday the 13th Part 8, on the other hand, like, shit presents itself as Jason takes Manhattan when it's really just Jason takes a boat and he takes Manhattan for like a couple minutes. Come on now. We're going Big Busta Rhymes over Friday the 13th Part 8. Next up, we have Rob Zombie's Halloween versus Jason Goes to Hell. Now, Rob Zombie's Halloween, I don't hate nearly as much as everyone else does. I actually quite enjoy it. It's super nostalgic for me. I like a lot of the choices Rob Zombie made in this movie. While yes, there are plenty of bad choices, I think there are some underrated choices in this movie. And it's pretty much the same exact shit with Jason Goes to Hell. Most people hate that movie. Most people fucking despise Jason Goes to Hell. I mean, it is one of my favorite horror movies like ever. It is so underrated, so overhated. It is my favorite look of Jason. It feels so 90s retro, like there is no other Friday the 13th movie before or after this one that feels like this one does. There's just something special about this movie's atmosphere that has never been replicated. And the climax of the movie is one of my favorite climaxes in any of the Friday the 13th movies. I mean, big, giant, scary demons dragging Jason to hell, like, on camera. That is so fucking cool. I absolutely love Jason Goes to Hell, and no one is convincing me otherwise. So we're choosing Jason Goes to Hell for this one. Next up, we have Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 versus Jason X. Now, Jason X is a fun time. Jason X is a really fun time. I'll pop it on at any time, and I'll enjoy it. If someone else pops it on, I won't object. Like, it's a fun time. It's stupid as shit. It's definitely not objectively good. It's just a shitty slasher where they're in space. Like, that's all it is. I take this movie at face value. I don't try to make it anything it isn't. It's just a shitty, fun, good time horror movie. And Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I think, is a misunderstood queen, okay? It is very dark. Probably the darkest movie of either of these franchises. Like, it is a very, very dark, grim, depressing movie. And I think it tackles all the subjects of grief and trauma very, very well. And it's so well acted too. Danielle Harris, Brad Dourif, Scout Taylor Compton, they all give phenomenal performances in this movie. Them just trying to get over their traumas, get over all the people they've lost. It is such a sad movie, but such an impactful movie at the same time to me. The only part of this movie that I can agree is objectively bad is the weird white horse dream sequence stuff that Michael goes through. I do think all of that is stupid as shit. This movie would be a lot higher on my ranking if it wasn't for that dumb shit, but other than that, I think it's a very misunderstood, great movie. So we're going Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 on this one. Next up, we have Halloween 2018 versus Freddy versus Jason. Now, I feel objectively Halloween 2018 is better. I do. but I hold Freddy vs. Jason so near and dear to my heart. It was the first movie with Jason or Freddy I ever saw. I had it on DVD as a kid, and I wore that disc out. I watched that movie till it wouldn't play no more. Could it have been better? Absolutely. Could it have been worse? Absolutely. It's a very important horror movie to me. I don't think I would be into horror nearly as much as I am today if it wasn't for me owning this DVD when I was younger. So while, yeah, Halloween 2018 is great, it revived the franchise, it's also a very important movie. But to me, I gotta go where my heart lies, and for me, that's Freddy vs. Jason on this one. Next up, the final battle, we have Halloween Kills versus the Friday the 13th remake. Now, a lot like Freddy vs. Jason, Friday the 13th 2009 is a super nostalgic one for me. I also had this when I was younger and I'd watch the shit out of it. But it wasn't nearly to the degree as Freddy vs. Jason, so while I do have nostalgia for it, it's not as prevalent as it is with that movie. Halloween Kills is another very, very important movie for me because it was the very first Halloween movie I ever saw as it was coming out in the theaters. I was so fucking hyped to go see this when it was coming out because in my town, the movie theater had been shut down for years, so I wasn't able to see movies that often unless I drove further away. But right before this movie came out, they reopened the theater in my town, and the first movie I saw when it reopened was Halloween Kills. I was so hyped. I had always wanted to see Michael Myers in the theater, and I had never got to up to this point. So I hold that experience very near and dear to my heart. And when it comes to the movies themselves, I think that Halloween Kills is much more entertaining. Yeah, there's not much in terms of plot. I think obviously Halloween 2018 and Halloween Ends is where most of the plot lies. But this movie is just the fun time. This movie was just to bridge the gap between 2018 and Ends, to keep people interested. And it did its job. Most of the coolest scenes that come from this most recent Halloween trilogy come from this movie, like Michael walking out of the burning house and absolutely obliterating the firemen, Michael absolutely dog walking an entire town all completely on his own, Michael Myers killing Laurie Strode's daughter. Like, I mean, I could go on about this movie, I really could. And so for all those reasons combined, yeah, I do have some crazy nostalgia for Friday the 13th remake. I gotta go with Halloween Kills. And we aren't going to be talking about Halloween Ends because there's no Friday the 13th movie to compare that one to. Okay, and the final score is 5-7, which means Halloween takes the cake on this one. I'm not very surprised with that. I've always known that I've much preferred the Halloween franchise to the Friday the 13th franchise. I just made this video because I was curious on how severe it was. And honestly, it's not as severe as I thought. There are obviously, if you watch this video, there are a good amount of Friday the 13th movies better than the Halloween movies. At the end of the day, I prefer Halloween, I prefer Michael Myers, and that's just how it is. I want to give a quick shout out to the channel Planet CHH. He originally made a video like this, and that's completely where I got the inspiration to do this video from, so credit to him on that one. I did not come up with this idea on my own. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments which franchise you prefer, which movie you prefer to which. I'm curious on your guys' opinion. I care. Anyways, click all the links. Like usual, check out my TikTok, check out my Instagram, all that linked in the description, linked in my channel bio. It's also at the end of every video. So, goodbye, good night, bye!